Hello, this is Phil from Pollenizer. How do startups make a business plan? Startups are unique because they don't know what their business model is yet. They have a theory, they have a hypothesis, they have a series of assumptions, but they need to prove it. And as they go towards proving those assumptions, they'll find that some are right, some are wrong, some are weak, and some are strong. So they have to have a business model that they can share, that they can document, that they can adapt very, very quickly within minutes as a team. Traditional business plans, we've all written them. They're tens of pages long. They might take us months to develop. They're full of colorful graphs which go up and to the right. But the problem with these business plans is they take a long time to create in their own right. They're things as a product that we care about in their own right. And that makes us very resistant to changing them if we discover something that we wrote in them is wrong. Startups need something more agile, something more changeable, something that can be reviewed very, very quickly and kept up to date as the startup learns quickly. That's where the lean canvas comes in. It's an adaptation of the business model canvas that was developed by Alexander Osterwalder. And it was developed by Ash Maurya in his book, Running Lean. The lean canvas uniquely challenges all the elements that a startup needs, that a startup's business model needs in order to succeed. It contains 9 cells. And when each of those 9 cells has moved from just a hypothesis into a fact, we have a strong business. We have a company that is ready to grow. The way that it works is this. Everything describing the product is on the left. Everything describing the market is on the right. And so what we're doing, even as a hypothesis when we make our first lean canvas, is we're starting to throw ropes between product and market. We're starting to pursue product market fit. So the first cell on the left is the problem, and it's the customer's problem that we're trying to solve, not your problem as a company. So what specifically is the problem that the customer has? And perhaps you might explore how they're solving it today. If there's a real problem out there, those customers are solving it the hard way today. Over on the right hand side, we have the customers themselves. Who are they? How would they describe themselves? Who are the customers that have this problem? For the very first version of the lean canvas, this doesn't matter if there's 5 people. We're looking for laboratory conditions in whatever we put in these cells. We want to be able to go and speak to a customer who's absolutely as described in this cell, and we want to hear what they say about the business model that we're putting in front of them. In the middle, traversing product to market, is a unique value proposition. The unique value proposition is the only cell in which you're permitted to write something that feels like marketing speak, something poetic, something persuasive. But certainly, whatever it is, it's 1 sentence or 2 that convinces the customer in cell number 2 with the problem in cell number 1 to come and use your product to engage with your business. The other important word in unique value proposition is unique. When that customer hears the unique value proposition, we don't want them to get confused between your product and something else that might be out there. We want them to hear it clearly and understand the uniqueness and then become a customer of your business. Solution. Notice it's one of the smallest cells. Many startup founders obsess about this and only really think about the solution, but see that it's just one part of a much larger matrix of elements which go towards making a business model. The solution cell is where we literally list the things that the product does. So, for example, the product has a single button which you press and it summons a taxi to wherever you're standing. So that's what Uber would be as a solution. Nothing more fancy than that. So cell number 5 is the channel through which you are going to reach the customer in cell number 2 with the problem in cell number 1. Where are they when they're feeling the problem that's in cell number 1? Is that the place where if you give them their unique value proposition, they're much more likely to convert and become a customer? So where are they? Are they in a certain aisle in the supermarket? Are they at the checkout? Are they looking at certain websites? Are they in a certain moment in a Facebook feed? What are they doing? Are they searching for a certain thing on Google? Be as specific as you can about the channel. Like all the cells, look for laboratory conditions which are testable. The bigger you are, the more broad and sweeping you are with whatever you put in there, the harder it is to test whether you're right or not. In the revenue cell, we just put the back of the napkin assumptions about how we're going to make money. But we do it specifically. So if, for example, you're going to make money through a subscription model, be specific about what you think that subscription model is. How much will you charge each customer each month? Is it $30? Is it $300? Is it $1? That will allow you to understand, in theory at least, if this business model could be profitable. So between revenue and costs, we're looking at the unit costs, just the high level costs, to show that this could be a profitable business. And as you start to define what you might charge customers, and as you start working with customers, you can start to throw specific numbers up against them and see what they think about that, to see if that's working. In metrics, we write what we're going to be measuring to show that this business model is working. In the early stages of a startup, we're not focused on the things that a larger business would be exploring. So we're not looking at profit at this stage. We're not looking at users or number of users. We're certainly not looking at things like page views. We're looking at something which measures that the customers are valuing what we're making. We want to show in the numbers that customers want us to make what we're making and to make more of it, and they want to keep coming back and they want to pay us. So we're measuring things like, do customers come back? Of all our customers, how many of them tell other customers to come? When customers come and use our product, do they use it in multiple different ways? And so on. Do they use it? How much time do they use it for? The unfair advantage is a special one for startups, because startups usually don't have an unfair advantage, or at least the founders don't believe that they do. They feel like they're just starting out and they have very little in the way of advantage or resources. But how can you manufacture an advantage? How can you give yourself the edge? How can you hack success into the future? So one startup that we worked with, for example, had a business idea for a sports quiz that happened at sports stadiums. And he thought, wow, my business would be great if I had a famous cricket player as a named person for my app. And that night he went and gave 10% of his business to that cricket player and gave himself the unfair advantage, even when he was in the first week of developing his product. So what's your unfair advantage? So there are all the cells in the lean canvas. You can see it's fairly quick to complete. You want to complete all the cells as fast as you can. In your mind, constantly be dancing between the different cells. Remember, this is a series of relationships. It's not a list of lists. Each cell impacts the other. And what you'll find as you're developing your business model is that when you prove that something is different to what you thought in one of the cells, you will have to change some of the other cells to compensate towards that. So for example, if you find that your customer isn't who you thought they were, and in fact it's somebody else, you probably have to change the channels. Perhaps you have to change the pricing model so that that new customer can properly pay for the product that you're making. Perhaps because of that, you have to have more customers. And so you can see how the whole business model changes as one cell changes. I'm going to walk you through actually making a lean canvas for a brand new idea that I have. And this idea I'm going to call Biomatch. And my big idea, my massive, as we like to call it, is that Biomatch will balance your diet in real time with measurements from your body. So this business that I've got in mind, it'll be measuring what you do with your smartphone and with various wearables and perhaps smart pills and things like that in the future, and will give you real-time recommendations and deliveries of food to eat in order to have a perfectly balanced biology or body. So, Biomatch. Let's build a lean canvas for that. So, of course, that's a very difficult business to build, and we need to check whether people really want it. So let's build up a lean canvas for the very, very smallest version of the business that we can start testing with real customers. So my assumption for the customer to begin with is mums with newborn babies. So the reason I have this assumption is that mums with newborn babies want to very quickly get balanced again after such a big change in their life, and their life is crazy busy and often don't have time to even think about food, but certainly they want to be the healthiest they've ever been in their life. So what's the problem that these people have? So I am out of shape and eating badly quickly because I'm just having to quickly grab things. Perhaps they feel constantly tired. And they've just got no time so these are the things that this customer is thinking. They're worried about these things. These are problems, these things that they'll be trying to solve some other way at the moment. Then we go over to the unique value proposition, and I think I'll call it something like adaptive food management, or what else could we put, like a diet that is just for you on any given day, because we're all different on different days. And maybe another version would be a custom diet that adapts to you and your life. So the solution, so remember, this is the minimum viable product. What's the simplest way I can think of to deliver this? And I think I'm going to do it super manually to begin with. So I'm only going to do this with 4 or 5 customers to see if I can get them to engage and start to feel healthier because of their diet. So I'm going to pay for 5 customers to have a special blood test and provide a diagnostic report. So this will give us a baseline. There's nothing technical here, it's just all paper and old school. I will then use that to base the diagnosis, but I will also ask the customer to send each day number of steps taken on smartphone via online form. So now I've got something of the real timeness that I'm looking for, and it's just something that's already on another app on their phone, and I'm collecting the information. And then finally I'm going to send an email with custom diet response, and to actually get something to them each day, I'm going to use Uber API to order food adaptation. So we've got mums with newborn babies. They've got no time to think about food. They feel constantly tired because their diet is imbalanced, and they're out of shape and eating badly because they're making quick decisions and just eating whatever they can. The unique value proposition we say to these people is something like, it's a custom diet that adapts to you and your life, or it's a diet that's just for you on any given day, or it's adaptive food management. And we solve that in the simplest, most minimal way for the first series of tests by using Uber to order food that has been prescribed, if you like, in an email that gets sent each day with custom diet responses. And the inputs for that are a blood test and a daily update of the number of steps taken, so that we can see how active they've been and respond with the diet. Now, number 5 is the channel. So how will we reach those mums? So we're going to do just a direct offer to 5 mums, because we're only after a small number. We don't need a big growth hack yet. And we're going to do it via a mothers group, and it will be an open pilot. So all the mums will very much know they're part of a pilot, but we'll be doing what we can to make it a very, very good experience. We'll just be having to work very hard. Even though the pilot will be free, because at this point we don't want revenue to get in the way of proving that we're making something valuable, the hypothesis is that it will be something like $100 per week. That's what I'm guessing right now. Actually, edit that. $100 per week subscription plan per customer. And in terms of costs, I would hope that actually this is, we don't have to do that because we are going to have some costs. I think I'm going to try and cost $50 per week in food, and let's say $20 in delivery costs. Now it's probably going to cost more than that in my first experiments, but we can start to get a feel for it. The key metrics, I want to know how much the mums are engaging with it. So I'm going to measure open rates of the daily reports. So I want to know how interested they are in the recommendations that Biomatch provides. And my unfair advantage is going to be that I've got a famous mum as one of the 5 pilot testers. So I don't know who the famous mum is yet, but I figure if I have got a famous mum, I will have more chance of convincing people to give it a shot. So there's my lean canvas for a minimum viable product, something that I can test next week with a nice clear definition of who the people are. So I've got mums with newborn babies. They've got no time to think. They're constantly tired and they're out of shape because they're eating badly, because they've got no time to decide what they're going to eat. The unique value proposition is that it's adaptive food management. It's a diet that's just for you on any given day. It's a custom diet that adapts to your life and to you. Let's do it the other way around. We're just going to have 5 customers who are going to have a special blood test that we'll pay for, and that'll provide a diagnostic report for how we might make them healthier through their diet. We're then going to get them to send us each day the number of steps that they've taken from their smartphone, and that's going to enable us to get some real-time update and start testing that they will give us information on a daily basis in order for us to give them dietary recommendations. It will also test that we can actually give them helpful dietary recommendations based on something that they do on a daily basis, and then we'll use the Uber API in order to deliver the food adaptation that's sent to them each day. We're just going to directly offer this to 5 mums via a mothers group, and we're going to say it's an open pilot. When we eventually charge for it, we hope it can be done for about $100 a week subscription plan, but the pilot will be free, and the cost we hope will be about $50 a week for the food, about $20 a week in delivery costs per customer, and we're going to be measuring the open rates per customer per week of the daily report, so we actually see how interested they are in seeing the recommendations that we make. And finally, we're going to have a famous mum as one of the live pilot testers to give us some social proof and ultimately set us in good stead for future growth. Interestingly, as a minimum viable product, one choice we could make is to take out this and just make it purely the recommendation. So we don't really need this yet. If we don't get mums interested in wanting to be healthier through custom dietary recommendations which are made each day, there's no point in having the complexity of having to deliver actual food to them. So this minimum viable product could be even more minimal. I hope that was helpful. Here's my lean canvas. You can see it took me just a few minutes to make. Go ahead and make your own and let me know how you go. Good luck.